So, okay, everyone, I think it's time we'll start the session now. So, today I thought of covering the logical concept. So, before that, we'll have a small intro as to what the rules of these NQT were and which we did not discuss yesterday. We'll have a small brief onto that too. See, yesterday we were talking about numerical ability, but when you guys look at the reasoning ability, just look at it here. You guys have 30 questions and you guys have 15 minutes time to solve. So, time for a question. If you look at time per question, what do you have? You have almost 100 seconds, 50 by 30. You'll get it in terms of minutes, then into 60. You get 100 seconds for each and every question. It's more than 1.5 minutes. So, if they are giving you more than 1.5 minutes to solve every single question, it's obvious that the questions might include a lot of calculations or it might be tricky. It is definitely going to be time consuming based on how much time you guys invest in each and every question. It is definitely going to matter a lot. So have that in mind before starting your reasoning ability. And now, so when you look at the screen, so we'll start with the general instructions for TCS NQT in the sample paper that we got to see. Yeah, the total time duration is 120 minutes. Yeah, that we all know. And the clock will be set as the server, and the countdown timer at the top right corner of the screen will display the remaining time available. So this is obvious. So you'll have your this one. What is it? The timer on the top right of the screen. So it will be easy for you guys to understand like how much time you have spent on this one. So it is easy for you. And when the time reaches 0, the examination will end by itself. Listen carefully. It will end by itself. You will not be required to end or submit your examination. There is no need of submitting at all. Once the time is over, it will automatically get submitted. Okay. And the final level submit option. When the final submit option will be available, will be enabled at the end of the exam only. Only if you complete the entire exam, you can submit. This button will be available for you, be enabled for you. So these are also quite general, but if you look at the rules for answering a question, this is where it gets a bit tricky. Listen to this one carefully. For every single question, after selecting an option, you must click on save and next. Only then you move on to the next one, next particular question. So after clicking one such option, let's say there are 4 options A, B, C, and D. After clicking one option, okay, there is an icon that says save and next. Only if you click onto that, it will move to the next one. To select your answer, click on the button next to the option. Yes, that's obvious. Now, to deselect the choices, what you have to do is you have to go and click that again. Let's say if I have clicked A, if you want to deselect it, now if you want to deselect it, what are you supposed to do? Click onto that A again, it will deselect. Or else there is also an icon that says clear response at the bottom. If you click onto that button, it will get deselected. And to change the chosen answer, click onto the button onto the another option. Let's say you have clicked on A, but now you think the answer is C. Click onto C now, it will automatically deselect A and it will select C now. There is no need of clearing response and doing all the stuffs. Now you'll be asked for a confirmation whether you want to proceed to the next question. So every time you click onto the next question, you'll be asked for a confirmation whether you want to proceed to the next question. And you might wonder, is this really necessary? Having a pop-up asking me to confirm whether I'm willing to proceed to the next question. You might wonder why it is necessary. It's because the last one. Candidates will not be allowed, will not be allowed to revisit or edit already answered questions. Let's say you have answered the first question, and you have selected one of such option, and then you go, click onto the save and next, you go to the second question. Now, if you want to go back to the first question, it is not possible. It only goes this way. You cannot come back to the previous question. Hope you guys understand. And navigating to a question, how do you navigate to a question? Now listen, when you click on save and next on a question, it will automatically take you to the next question. Okay, note that you need to take the question in order as they appear. So like I've told you, only after completing the first question, you can go to the second question. Only after completing this, you can go to the third one. Only after completing this, you can go to the fourth one. So you can answer the questions only in the orders as they appear. You cannot choose the order. As in, you cannot go directly to the fourth question and answer some option and then go to the second question. Not possible. Only in this particular order. And you cannot skip a question or revisit later or go to the question of your choice. This is not possible. Skipping a question is not possible. So yesterday when I told you guys can skip a question, what I actually meant is, let's say if you guys are not sure what the answer is and it is definitely going to take a lot of time, so choose a random option and then move on. Okay, that's how we can do it, the best guess. So that's what I meant by skipping it. Clear? Because there is no point in wasting a lot of time for a single question. And navigating through sections, these sections, it's quite like the normal one where what happens is the sections in the question paper are displayed on the top bar of the screen, and you'll be able to see what is the section that you're currently on and what is the next section, and the section you are currently viewing will be highlighted. Let's say if it is, if the top bar says quants, verbal, logical, and all these stuffs, and if you're currently taking quants, this will be highlighted. Candidates are expected to attempt sections in the predefined order as they appear on the screens. Let's say, even not just in the questions, even in terms of the sections, you can only write verbal only after completing quants. Let's say if this is the order in which it appears on the screen, you can write them only in this order. Only after completing first section, you can go to the second. Only after completing second, you can go to the third. That's how it is going to work. And all the sections are time limit bound. So every section has its own time limit, and candidates will move on to the next session only after the specific time limit for the section is completed. So listen, what happens? Let's say you take on reasoning ability. You complete all those 30 questions in, let's say, within 30 minutes. You have extra spare 20 minutes now, but you cannot do anything in that 20 minutes. So irrespective of, even if they complete the answering questions, in case all the questions are not answered in the time given for the section, you'll be forced to submit in the section. Once the timer ends, only you can go to the next section. And if you have any spare time, there is no use of the spare time because you will be stuck with the last question and you cannot move on to the next section, or you cannot move on to the previous sections also. So you have to plan accordingly. Let's say if there are 30 questions and there is no point of completing all those 30 questions within 30 minutes because you have 15 minutes time. So spend them accordingly. Hope you guys understand. Okay. Now before starting the reasoning ability, yeah, before starting the reasoning ability, we'll do this way. Yesterday we left to cover a few questions of your quantitative aptitude, the numerical ability. So we'll cover that first, and then we'll move on to the reasoning ability. Are you guys ready? Shall we start? Okay. So you guys are ready. Listen, here's your first question. It says the sides of a rectangular field are 55 meter, 300 meter, and 300 meters. So there is a triangular field. So it's 55, 300, and 300. Those are the sides. And its area is equal to 7 by 15th of the area of a circular park. What is the perimeter of the circular park? They're asking you to find out the perimeter, correct to one decimal, please. Take the pi value as 22 by 7. Okay. What is the formula to find out the area of a triangle once you know all three sides? You have a direct formula there. What is it? Area is equal to square root of s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c, where s is your semi-perimeter. Where s is semi-perimeter. What is the perimeter? A plus b plus c is your perimeter. So when I say semi-perimeter, it means half of it. So once you apply this formula here, it will be easy for you guys to find out the answer. Now let's find out the value of s first. What is the value of s? 55 plus 300 plus 300 by 2. So it's 655 by 2. What is 655 by 2? It's 327.5. 327.5 meter square. And now let's find out the area. And I already know the formula for my area. It's 327.5 into s minus e. 327.5 minus 55. And s minus b. 327.5 minus 300. The next one. 327.5 minus 300. So it's the square root of 327.5 into 272.5 into 27.5 into 27.5. That's it. And now, if we take the square root of it, we find out the value of it. You guys obviously have your calcies. You can use your calcies here. You cannot use your braces, brackets and all there. So once you simplify them, you can obviously use it there. So once you find out the area, you'll get the area as 8215.265. And then, what is the other data that I know? Area of triangle is equal to 7 by 15 of area of the circle. And now, if that's the case, what do I know now? 8215.25 is equal to 7 by 15 into area, let's say it's A. From this one, you can find out the value of A. What is the value of A that you get? Or else, you can do it this way. What is my actual question here? What is the perimeter, right? You are actually asked to find out the perimeter of this particular circle. What do you need to find out the perimeter of a circle? You need 2 pi and r. So instead of finding out the area and then finding out the r, you substitute here directly. What is the formula for area of a circle? It's pi r square, right? So it's 22 by 7 into r square. Now it's a bit easier. Now if you find out the value of r here, you get somewhere around 74.84. And now, to find out the perimeter, what will you do? Perimeter. Two by r. 2 into 22 by 7 into 74.84. And the final answer that you get will be 470.42. 470.4. Move on to the next question here. Now, here's a question that says, in a company, 58% of the employees are male. Okay, and the rest are female, obviously. And 48% of the employees are graduates, in which 33, 1 by 3% are male. Okay, so I have two different classifications. Let's say in a company there are 100 employees, in which I know 58% is male. So male, 58 people. And then female, I know it is the remaining 42. Right? Done. And the other data given is 48% of the employees are graduates. 48%. Let's say out of the total 100, 48 people are graduates, which means the remaining 52 are non-graduates. Of which, so they are talking about the graduates, the 48%, of which 33.33% are male, which means 33.33. You can do it simple way. What is the fraction format of 33.33? It's 1 by 3. When you are asked to find out what is 33.33% of x, all you need to do is divide the value by 3. Let's say 33.33% of x will be x by 3. Just like how you find out. If someone asks you to find out 50% of x, what we generally do, we divide that particular value by 2. Same way, that for 33.33% x by 3. So 48 by 3, what is it? It is 16. So 16 male, which means the remaining 32 should be female. Yes, done. Now, if that is the case, out of this 58 male, now I know 16 are graduates. The remaining 42 are non-graduates. Same way, if I talk about the female list, I know out of the females, 32 are graduates. So 32 are graduates. So the remaining 10 will be non-graduates. So now we know the complete data. Now what is my actual question here? Among females, what percentage of those who are not graduates is? Now listen here. They are asking me to find out the number of female non-graduates out of the total females, which means 10 out of 42 into 100. Now how do I do it? You obviously have your calci, so you can do it. But listen, 1 by 4 means 25%, right? Which means 10 by 40, if it was 10 by 40, the answer would have been 25%. So the denominator is increasing, which means my final answer should be less than 25. So this is my answer. You guys understand? So listen, 1 by 4 is 25%, which means 10 by 40 into 100 would be 25% again. But here it is not 10 by 40, it's 10 by 42. The denominator increases. When the denominator increases, your entire value decreases. Same way, it is less than 25%. So this is my answer, 23.8%. Okay. We'll move on to the next question now. Here's a question based on data interpretation. Okay. The total revenue of a company from the sale of product Q in 2015 and 2018, and from the sale of product S in 2015 is approximately what percentage less than the total revenue from the sale of product P in 2014 and 2017 and product R in 2013 and 2014. So I have a complete data that tells me the revenue in terms of lakhs of a company, a particular company ABC, from the sale of 4 different products P, Q, R and S in 6 years. Now all I need to do is take away the required data. What is my required data? The sale of product Q in 2015. Let's say Q in 2015. So Q in 2015, 176. Q in 2018. it's 184. And then S in 2015, I notice 192. Same way, it is what percentage less than the total revenue. They are comparing this with another set, the sale of P in 2014, P in 2017, R in 2013, and same R in 2014. So P in 2014, I notice 168. P in 2017, I notice 192. R in 2013, it is 183. R in 2014, I notice 177. Now add this value, and they're asking us to find out by what percentage is this one less than this one. Okay, if I add this, what do I get? It's 552. Same way, if I add it here, okay, by what percentage is this value less than this value? So obviously this becomes my base value and the difference in the numerator. So it is 720 minus 552 divided by 720 into 100. What is the difference that you guys get? 168 by 720. How is it 30.4, Arvind? I think you could have made some mistake. Please check again. Yes, very good. Guys, listen. 1/4 of 720 is 180. 1/4 of 720 is 180. So if it was 1 by 4 or else 180 by 720 into 100, it would have been 25%. As the numerator decreases, the entire value decreases. So it is less than 25, but that is not going to help me much because I have three such options that are less than 25. So once you calculate it, you will get the value as 23.3. Good. We move on to the next question now. Okay. Look at this question. A trader gains 25% by selling an article at a discount of 35% of its market price. Okay, fine. So let's say this guy, what he does is he fixes the market price as 100. Let's assume he has fixed the market price as 100. He gives a discount of 35%. 35% discount, which means the selling price is 65. And in this 65, he has made a profit of 25%. Okay. Now, if the cost price of the article increases by 28%, what discount percent should he give now on the same marked price to get the same profit percentage as before? So the profit percentage, here it is 25%. Now listen here, profit percentage is known, selling price is known. How do we find out the cost price? Listen, what happens? I know after 25% profit, the selling price is 65, which means 125% of cost price is 65. How am I telling it's 125% cost price plus 25% of cost price? So it's 125% of cost price is 65. Then what is 100% of cost price? So 100 percentage would be, yeah, divided by 5 and then multiply that by 4. Because if we divide this by 5, you get 25%. If we divide this by 5, what do we get? 13. 13 4s are 52. We got the cost price. Now, let's go to the next data that they have given us. Now, the cost price increases by 28%. So this is the new data. Let's write the new data here. The marked price should be 100. Profit percentage should be 25%. And I know the new CP should be 28% more. So can I say it is 52 into 1.28? Okay, fine. Let me put it that way. And now, what happens to my selling price now? Selling price is cost price plus profit, right? Selling price is cost price plus profit. That doesn't change. So cost price, I know. And profit is 25% of it. So just like how I did here, I can write the selling price as 125% of cost price, which means the new selling price is equal to the cost price. What is the cost price that I had? 52 into 1.28 into 1.25. This is my new selling price. Now, if you find out the selling price, you will get the value as 83.2. Now, think logically. If the marked price is 100 and if the selling price is 83.2, what is the discount percentage that I should have given? Discount percentage would be 16.8 because it decreases by 16.8 with the base value 100. So discount percentage is 16.8%. Now to the next question. Here's your next question. This is another data interpretation question, but here the diagram is in terms of flow chart. So the pie chart. We have all the data in terms of degrees. Okay, fine, we'll do it. Breakup of the total number of employees of a company in 5 cities, A, B, C, D, E, is given in the pie chart. Okay, the total number of employees is 2,400 degrees. 2,400. If 1/3 of the total number of employees of the company in offices in cities B and D are shifted to office in C and E in the ratio 2:3, okay, the difference between the number of employees in the offices of C and E is, okay, fine. Now listen, first let me find out what is the 1/3 of the total number of employees of the company in offices B and C. In B and C. If I put together B and C, B and D, right? It's B and D. B and D. If I put together B and D, I have 180 degrees. The total employees, 360 degree is equal to 2,400. So if I take B and D alone, it gives me 180 degrees. So it is actually half of it, 1,200. And out of which I know 1/3 of the total number of employees. 1/3 of the total number of employees in B and D. So 1/3 of B and D, which means I'm talking about 400 employees. These 400 employees, what they do is they are shifted to offices in C and E. But how much go to C and how many go to E? How many go to C and how many go to E? They go in the ratio 2:3. They go in the ratio 2:3, which means I know how do we split the ratios? 5x put together, 2x, 3x, 5x is 400. So x is 80. So what do we have here? Number of people who shift to C is 160. The number of people who shift to E is 240. Now that we know the number of people who get shifted there, we should also find out the number of people who are actually there in the offices of the cities C and also in E. And how do I do that? Employees in C. So employees in C is 63 out of 360 into 2400. Yes, because CTC takes 63 degree of the entire 360 degree. So if I calculate, I get the value as 420, which means 420 employees were already there. Same way, employees in office in city E would be 36 by 360 into 2400. So 36 is 1/10 of it. So 1/10 of 2400 would be 240. Now what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to find out the difference. I'm supposed to find out the difference in the C office and E office now. The number of people in C office now, what will that be? So earlier it was 420 and now 160 people got added there. And same way in E office, earlier it was 240 and now I have another 240. So the difference between 580 and 480, and I know the answer is option C. It's 100. I guess clear with the question so far. I guess clear with the questions. Okay, come on guys, then if you guys are ready, we'll do it. We'll straight away jump into the logic. Okay. So Dinagaran says yes. What about the others? Okay, fine. Very good. Done. Now we'll start your logical reasoning questions. Now here's your first question. The statements are followed by three courses of actions, number 1, 2, and 3, assuming everything in the statement to be true. Decide which of the suggested courses of action a decision to be taken for the follow-up. Improvement is in regard to the problem. Logically following the. So they have given us a statement and certain course of actions, and we are supposed to find out what is the course of action that we are supposed to follow based on the statement given. what is the statement given? The indigenous tribes living in the forest areas near the river basin are cutting down the trees to meet their basic needs. Okay, and are thus severely affecting the ecological balance in that area. So problem is given. What is the problem? These tribes, the people from these tribes are cutting down the trees in this forest area, and because of which ecological balance is being affected. Now, what is the course of action given? The course of action is first one. Tiger population near the river basin should be increased to prevent tribal people from going to the forest. If I bring a lot of tigers there, definitely the people won't go to the forest. Yeah, that's true. But is that the what is it? The logical way to approach this particular problem? Because if I bring in a lot of tigers, it will also affect the people from those tribes. So definitely, this is not something that you should opt for. The second one, the tribes living in the forest area should be shifted to other areas and be provided accommodation and the subsistence allowance. Okay, if I move those tribes to another place and they take care of them, obviously the ecological balance will not be affected anymore. So this is definitely a viable option. And let's see the third one. Since tribal people cut down trees to meet their basic needs and not for any commercial purpose, they should be allowed to continue doing the same for their survival. Now, once we allow, it is definitely not going to solve our problem. What is the problem actually that we face? It is affecting the ecological balance, and this is not going to happen for so long. If they cut down a lot of trees, eventually they run out of trees. They will not be trees anymore. So definitely, what is my answer? Second, option two. Now the next question, same sort of question. A statement is given and three viable course of actions, or no. Okay. Consider the statement and decide which of the given assumptions is implicit in the statement. Okay. An NGO trained farmers in a district to use organic fertilizers instead of chemical fertilizers to improve their yield. So seems like there is an NGO. So what this NGO does is it trains the farmers in a particular district to use organic fertilizers instead of chemical fertilizers to improve their field. Done? Okay. Now, look at the following assumptions. First assumption. Earlier, the farmers were not aware that the chemical fertilizers that they have contain ill effects on health. Please listen, you cannot assume anything when it comes to a question based on critical. This is sort of a critical reasoning question. When it comes to questions like these, you are never supposed to assume anything unless and otherwise it is given in the statement. Okay, they did not talk about any ill effects that a chemical fertilizer will cause to the health. So this is definitely not assumed here. After the training, the farmers are more likely to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. Yes, definitely this is most possible. Yeah, because they have been trained on organic fertilizers, how to use it instead of the chemical fertilizers, and they also know it improves their yield. So definitely it is more likely that the farmers will start using the organic fertilizers and they'll reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. Second is definitely possible. The third one, organic fertilizers are easily available to farmers than the chemical fertilizers. Now you might think that this is also true, but is this given in the statement? No. We cannot assume anything. The answer is only two is implicit, which means two is the only assumption that follows this particular statement. Okay, so next question. The figure marked X is folded to form a box. Four possible boxes A, B, C, D are given below, some of which can be formed and some cannot be formed. Choose from the alternative of the boxes that can be formed. Okay, this is the part figure which we are folding and making a box out of it. If that's the case, which of these is possible out of the box that we have formed, and how will we solve it? Now listen, if it is folded in this format, obviously this one, the square, will be opposite to the dot. The square will be opposite to the dot. Square will be opposite to the dot. That's how you fold it. This goes to the bottom, this goes to the top, and these four form the four sides. So if square and the dot are in opposite sides, how can they be adjacent here? So definitely this is not possible. If A is not possible, this is not possible, and this is not possible. Out of these two options, you have to choose. And now there is no point in finding out whether B is possible or not, because even if you find out that the B is possible, you cannot choose the second option or the fourth one. So do one thing, check for B, D or C. Okay, let's go with C here. What does it say? X, circle and square, they'll be adjacent. X, circle, see. Same way, if these four form the four sides of the particular cube, how can these and this be adjacent to each other? It will be opposite to each other, right? If these four are made to be the sides of that particular cube, these four are made to be the sides, these two, X and circle, will be opposite to each other, and this blank will be opposite to the other blank. So definitely C is not possible, and I know A is not possible. So definitely it should be B and D. You can also check that. Circle, dot, and a blank. Circle, dot, and a blank. These three are adjacent. Find X, blank, and a square. X, blank, and a square. These three are adjacent. So definitely the answer is B and D on D. Here's your next question. The following diagram, the rectangle stands for North Indians. Okay. This rectangle stands for North Indians, and the circle stands for married persons, and the triangle stands for graduates, the square stands for soldiers, and the number in the different segments show the number of persons who fall into that particular category. Answer the question on the basis of the information given in the diagram. How many married graduates are either North Indians or soldiers, but not both? How many married graduates? So married people fall under the circle, and the graduates fall under this particular triangle. So this is the common part, out of which how many people are either North Indians or soldiers. So 12 people, they fall under the North Indian category alone, and 5 people, they fall under the soldiers category alone. And they have clearly told us not to take both. So if both is possible, then we could have taken this 4 also. But no. Out of the common area, this 12 falls under North Indian alone, and this 5 falls under soldiers alone. So my answer is 17. Okay. The same data, I have a different question. How many unmarried North Indians? How many unmarried North Indians are neither graduates nor soldiers? How many unmarried North Indians? If I talk about North Indians, it is definitely there in this particular rectangle. So if I'm talking about unmarried, so definitely I can take away this one, these two, and also this one. Out of this, who are neither graduates nor soldiers, they should not be graduates also. Okay, definitely this is gone. gone. Unmarried, this is gone. So definitely soldiers, it's already gone here. So how many people are left in the particular rectangle? 7 and 10. The answer is 17. How many unmarried North Indians are neither graduates nor soldiers? 7 and 10 put together plus 17. Here's your next question. In a family of 8 persons with 2 couples having, each having 2 children. So there are 2 couples, B and D are brothers and each has 2 children. Okay, listen carefully. When you have a question based on blood relations, my best suggestion is go with symbols to represent them. So what I would suggest is circle for female, box for male, and if you put this symbol, it means they are a married couple, and this symbol means siblings. So if you use all these symbols, it will be easy for you guys to understand. So the first data, B and D are brothers. So B and D are brothers, male, and their siblings. Done. And each has 2 children. So they definitely have 2 children each. E is the aunt of A. So I don't know who E is and I don't know who E is. Okay, fine. So E is the aunt, which means E is the wife of either B or D, and A is one of the children. Because I have only 8 people in the family, right? And 2 couples. So there should be someone here, and there should be someone here. I don't know who that is. Okay, let's see. A, who is the cousin brother of C. C is the sister of H, who is the cousin brother of G. F is the wife of B. Now here's my important data. F is the wife of B. If that's the case, E is the aunt of A. So E should be here and A should be here. Only then E is the aunt of A. Done. Who is the cousin brother? Who's a cousin brother of C? C is the sister of H. C is the sister of H. Who is the cousin brother of G? H, who is a cousin brother of G. Now my question is, how is H related to F? How is H related to F? The answer is nephew. And if you guys have noticed this particular question clearly, even at the end of this entire question, I don't know what is the gender of G. It could either be a boy or a girl. I don't know for sure. Do I have any clue that says the gender? See, A is the cousin brother, so he's male. And C is the sister, so it's female. H is the cousin brother, I know it's male. I still don't know the gender of G. So this is what you might forget once you don't use those symbols. Once you start using these symbols and practice, it will make your questions easier. So here my question is, how is H related to F? So it's definitely nephew. Among 5 subjects, A, B, C, D, and E, B weighs half as much as D. Okay, B weighs half as much as D, and E weighs 1.5 times that of C. 1.5 times, it is 3 by 2 of C. And A and D put together, they weigh 1.5 times as much as, they weigh 1.5 times as much as B and C put together. C weighs 1.5 times as much as A. C weighs 1.5 times again, so it's again 3 by 2 as much as A. Now, what is my actual question here? If the objects are arranged in ascending order of the weights, which subject will be exactly in the middle? For which I should definitely know what each of their weights are. So I'm definitely supposed to assume someone's value. So let's start with A here. And if I cannot randomly assume any number because I have 2 in the denominator, it will make my calculations easier. If the A is an odd number, so I'll just assume this as 2x. Let's say assume A is 2x. 2x. So A, B, C, D, and E. So I've assumed E as 2x. What happens to my C now? What happens to my C? So it becomes 3x. So C becomes 3x. Fine. Substitute that here. So E becomes 3 by 2 into 3x. So 9x by 2, so it's 4.5x. And B is directly related to D only. I don't have any other option, so I should definitely go with this one. Okay. So this one, I can write this as 2x plus D is equal to 3 by 2 into B plus, instead of C I can write 3x. Definitely, yes. And I know B is equal to D by 2, which means D is equal to 2B. I'm going to substitute that here. So 2x plus 2B is equal to 3 by 2 into B plus 3x. What do I get? 4x plus 4b is equal to 3b plus 9x. So 4b minus 3b is equal to 5x. So b is equal to 5x. Write that here. B is equal to 5x. And what is the value of d then? It is 10x. So if I arrange them in the ascending order of their weights, which one goes first? It's A, and then C, and then E, and then B, and then D. So who goes in the middle? The answer is E. Here's your next question. This is a question based on visual reasoning. Okay. The sequence of folding. Okay, the sequence of folding a piece of square paper and the manner in which the folded paper has been cut is shown in the figures marked in X, Y, and Z. How would the paper look when unfolded? So you fold a paper this way and then you make some cuts in it here, here, and here. So after unfolding, how would it look? That's my question. So if I make a cut here, it will definitely have a cut here also. It will have a circle here and here also. If I unfold them, definitely yes. So this is not my answer. I can take that away. And now here the cut is made this way. Made this way. So definitely a square cannot be formed there. So definitely sort of a diamond or a rhombus. So either C or D. And then What is my other option? If I make a cut here, it's definitely going to be the same cut here. Isn't that right? The cut that I make here would also be the cut that I make here. So when unfolded, it will be the same cut here, it will be the same cut here also. So how can these two be different? This is possible. Answer is option C. Again, a similar question, but here what is the difference? You are not folding it with half as the margin, they are folding towards side. Okay, half, and then this side, done. Let's say 3/4 of the paper. Now, if that is the case, once I unfold it, what do I have? First, tell me, do I have any change here? Because the paper wouldn't have made it till here. After folding, the paper wouldn't have made it till here. So the cut that is made here would remain the same even after unfolding. So first or the last option. It cannot be this one, and it definitely cannot be this one. A triangular shaped cut made here, when unfolded, it will reveal a diamond. Yes, it reveals a diamond. And now listen, what is the difference between the first and third? This figure. This figure. How would this look like? Now, once I unfold this one, I'll have one more circle here. Once I unfold that one also, I'll have two circles here. So definitely my answer is option D. This is my right answer. This is definitely not possible. Move on to the next question now. Six cars, PQRSTU, are parked facing east. There are two cars between U and S and one car between P and R. Q is on the extreme left. If P is between T and U, which car is on the extreme right? That's my question. So there are six cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's assume this is the east. So they are facing east and Q is on the extreme left. So this is where Q is on the extreme left. There are two cars between U and S. So between U and S, I have two cars. Okay. And one car between P and R. So between P and R, I have one car. Okay. Guys, listen. Once I write, let's say for example, between P and R, there is one car. It doesn't mean P, R, they come in the same order. It could be the other way also. It could be R, P, and one car in between them. And two cars between U and S. U and yes. Same way. Yes, U is also possible. If P is in between T and U, okay, P is in between T and U, okay, between T and U. The other way is also possible. Never forget that. Which car is on the extreme right? Now I have to arrange them. So now that I don't have any other clues, I'll have to go with certain assumptions. We'll go with certain assumptions here. So which takes a lot of cars in between. Start with U and S. So if U is here, yes, can be here. If U is here, yes, can be here. So I'll start with arrangements. First assumption, Q and then U here, so yes becomes here. And let's go with the other ones, other assumptions. Q, yes here, and U here, possible. Third assumption, Q remains the same, and I'll go to the third arrangement. U here, and yes at last. Fourth arrangement, Q here, yes here, and U here. Now let's check for the other cars. Now, between P and R, I need 1. Okay, fine. Now, if that is the case, and I also have one more thing that says P is in between U and T. Between U and T, I should have P. This should be my arrangement. If that is the case, what happens to my R? Between R and P, I should have one car. Now, I cannot place R here, which makes 2 cars in this case. So definitely this arrangement is not possible. Again, I'll go here. Between T and P, between T and U, I should have P. So I cannot have T here, I cannot have T here, I can have T here. If that's the case, I will have P here. And I can have R here because between P and R, I need one car. So this is possible. And now, in this case, where can I place T? I can place T here and P here because P comes in between U and T. And I can place R here in such a way that between P and R, I have one car. So this is also possible. Now let's check this one, last one. If U is here, I must have T here, which means I should have P here because I know P comes between T and U. But I cannot have R here because what is the condition? I have a condition that says between P and R, I should have one car. So this arrangement is also not possible. So I have only 2 possible arrangements. In either of the cases, what comes at the extreme right end, it's either R or S. Answer is either S or R. That's my answer. Move on to the next question now. In a code, A star B means A is the son of B. A plus B means A is the brother of B. A dash B means A is the sister of B. Okay. So they have given me a condition, and out of which they have given me some options, and they are asking me to find out which of the given options is true. And what did I tell you? Whenever you have a question based on blood relations, it's always better to draw a flowchart using some diagrams, predefined diagrams that we already know. B/D. B is the sister. B is the sister of D. Do I know D's gender now? No, not yet. D plus G. D is the brother of G. So D is the brother of G. G star H. G is the son. G is the son of H. Now let's start looking at the options. H is the uncle of B. Definitely no. So all these 3 are siblings. So H is their parent. So definitely this is not my answer. D is the grandson of H. No. D is the brother of G. D is the brother of G. Yes. Definitely yes. Now let's check the last one also, just to be sure. H is the mother of G. H is the mother of G. Do I know H is female? What if it was father? All I know is G is the son of H. That doesn't make H a female. That doesn't make H a mother. It could be a mother or a father. I don't know the gender of H for sure. So I cannot say this for sure. So my answer is option C. Here's our next question. Which of the option figures would come next in the following figure series? Take 10 seconds, try to do it. Okay. Now let's look at the middle ones. The middle ones. The top middle one. What is happening here? In the previous figure, this shape was here and it comes here. And it doesn't just come here, it rotates clockwise 90 degrees. Same way, it rotates clockwise 90 degrees and comes here. This one, it rotates clockwise 90 degrees and comes here. If this rotates clockwise, what is the shape that I would have here? This is what I would have. So definitely, option A is gone, option B is gone. So it's either C or D. Now we'll take the middle ones. This figure was earlier here. From this place to this place, same way. From this place to this place, comes here. From this triangle, from this place to this place, same way. The star from here should come here. There should be a star here. So definitely my answer is option C. In each of the 5 pairs of letters, the letters in the second term is a rearranged or transformed form of the letters in a particular pattern. In which of the two pairs has the transformation been done the same way? Seems like there is one particular logic in which this has been transformed into this one, and they are asking us to find out which of the options take the same transformation method. Take some 20 seconds, try to do it, and tell me the answer. Is it the third one? Are you sure? Okay, guys, listen. Here, they have just been rearranged. If you look at W, yeah, very good. If you look at W, it goes to the second place. M, it doesn't go to the second place. No one. S goes to the second place. H goes to the second place. D doesn't go to the second place. Gone. So out of these two options, I'm supposed to check. The last letter is different. So let's see. What happens to the last letter? It was the last but previous. Last but second becomes the last. Same way, the last but second becomes the last. Very good. But the last but second here doesn't become the last. Answer is option B. They are arranged in one particular format. and that's not repeated here. If you want the correct arrangement, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is the order in which the letters are, and how are they transformed? 5 comes first, and then 1, and then 3, and then 2, and then 4. The fifth letter becomes the first becomes second, third becomes third, second one becomes fourth, and fourth one becomes fifth. This is the order in which they are supposed to rearrange. This is the only option that follows the same order. Another visual reasoning question. I want you guys to take 10 minutes, 10 seconds, try to figure out what it is, and then we'll discuss the answer. Please read the question clearly. It is not a question they are asking us to find out what comes next. It's not a series and they ask us to find out next. No. So we have a double ratio symbol, which means there is one logic in which this transforms to this one. If the same logic is applied here, this transforms to what? It's an analogy question. I've got 4 different answers. Okay, we'll see. Okay, listen here. The outer figure circle becomes the inner figure. The outer figure circle becomes the inner figure as it is. Same way, if the outer figure, it has to become the inner figure as it is, which means the inner figure should be in terms of a diamond. And one more thing that I know is the angle in which it is shaded. This is the angle northwest. Let's say if this is the direction, northwest becomes north. Clockwise 45 degrees. Same way, if this is the angle in which it is shaded, it should be shaded in this angle. So I can take away this option. It should be shaded in this way. In the same way, how do I have the outer figure? How do I get my outer figure? Just look at it. Here, the inner figure was in the form of a diamond. They rotated it clockwise 45 degrees, and I have the bigger figure here. Same way, the inner figure is a square. If I rotate clockwise, that becomes my outer figure. A diamond shaped outer figure with its shade in this angle. So this is gone and this is gone. The answer is option C. Very. Move on to the next question now. This is just an explanation. The answer is option C. Now it's a question based on data sufficiency. Given below is a question followed by 2 statements, 1 and 2, each containing some information decide which of the statements are sufficient. How many sisters does Rahul have? Let's take the first statement alone. Rahul's father is the only child of Rohit. Okay, let's say Rahul's father is the only child of Rohit. Is the only child of Rohit, which means Rohit does not have any other child. So this Rohit guy, he has two grandchildren. He has two grandchildren. So there is no other go. It has to be the other one here. So the other one should definitely be a sibling of Rahul. The other one should be a sibling of Rahul. But what is my actual question? How many sisters does Rahul have? All I know is Rahul has a sibling. All I know is Rahul has a sibling. Do I know uh, the other sibling is a male or female? No. Okay. So definitely statement 1 alone is not sufficient. Let's see what happens to the statement 2. Sonali, the mother of Rahul. Sonali, the mother of Rahul, is married to Kamal, who has, which means this pair has a son and a daughter. A son and a daughter. Who has a son and a daughter. So how many sisters does Rahul have? So I can definitely answer with my second statement alone. Definitely Rahul has one sister. Statement 2 alone is sufficient. We move on to the next question. A medical representative plans to visit 6 doctors A, B, C, D, E, F, one doctor per day during the week from Monday to Saturday. Okay. So what this guy does is he goes to 6 different doctors from A to F from Monday to Saturday. Let's put it this way: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there are certain conditions in which he visits. He visited D on the day before the day he visited B. So he visited D on one particular day, which is the day before he visited B. So this should be in the same order. D and B should come next to each other in the same order. But I don't know where it goes. He visited C on Monday. Okay. He did not visit F on either Tuesday or Saturday. Okay. Which means here I don't get to have F Tuesday, and last one I don't get to have F. Okay, I got it. He visited A on the day just before the day he visited E. He visited A on a particular day just before the day he visited E. So just like DB, I have AE, but I don't know where that goes. He visited D on some day after he visited A. So he visits A and only then he goes to D. Whereas listen, they visit some day after, which means he visits A and after only he goes to B. D. That doesn't mean D and A they come next to each other. No. He first visits A and after some days he goes and visits D. So this should come after this one, the same order. But in the middle or in the front or in the back, I can have any number of data that I don't have. any conditions about them. Now listen here, A, E, D and B should be in an order, but I know there can be some people in between also. But A and D should come together and D and B should come together, and this is the order in which they should be, but I can have some people in the middle also. Okay, let me assume there are no people in the middle. A, E, B, D. Is it possible? If that is the case, F has to come here. Not possible. What if I have A, E, D, B here in the last four, which means F should come here? Not possible. So what is the only possibility here? A and E here, D and B here, and then I can have F here. So this is the only possibility. Which doctor he visits on Saturday? The answer is he visits Dr. B. Here's another question based on blood relations. In a coded form, A star B means A is the son of B, A plus B means A is the brother of B, and A dash B means A is the sister of B. In which of the following implies that P is the nephew of S? And now this is time consuming, right? You have to check all four and you have to see in which one P is the nephew of S. Okay, I'll give you a shortcut here. Now listen, P should be the nephew of S, which means P should be male. P should be male. Eliminate the options where P is a female. Okay, now look at here. P star Q. P is the son of Q. Find possible. P slash S. P is the sister of S. So definitely not possible. Same way. P slash Q. P is the sister of Q. So in this case also it becomes female. So not possible. So it should either be A or C. You have to check this. We'll check the first one. P is the son of Q. Q is the brother of R. R is the sister of yes. I still don't know yes is gender, but still fine. Is P the nephew of yes? Definitely yes. He is the nephew. Your sibling's son. So P becomes a nephew. The answer is option A. Move on to the next question. In a class, 40% of the students are girls, among which 25% are rich. Okay. Among the girls, 25% are rich. Among the boys, who are those who are rich are 150% of the number of rich girls. There are 160 tribal students in the class in the ratio 3:5 between girls and boys. 50% of the rich girls and 60% of the rich boys are tribal students. The number of tribal students constitutes 40% of the students in the class. This is actually my main data. The number of tribal students is 40% of the total class strength. Yes. So 40% of total is, I know there are 160 tribal students. So 40% is 160. So what is total then? If 40% is 160, can I say 20% is 80? So 100% 5 times. So it is 400. So total number of students in the class is 400. So from this, I can start with the tree diagram. So there are 400 students totally, and I know out of which 40% of the students are girls. 40% girls. What is 40% of 400? It is 160. The remaining are boys, obviously. So it's 240. This data I know. And I also know data that says 40% of the students are girls, among which 25% are rich. So out of this, 25% are rich. What is 25% of 160? You got rich people. 25%. What is 25% of 160? It is 40. Okay. And I know among the boys, those who are rich are 150% of the number of rich girls. 150% of number of rich girls. So number of rich girls is 40. 150% of it, how will you calculate 150%? Half of it and add that to it. So 150% of 40. How will you do that? Or else you can do it this way. 3 by 2 into 40. What do you get? It is 60. Which means out of the boys, 60 are rich. How did I find this out? I know this is 150% of the other one. Done. Let's look at the other data. There are 160 tribal students in a class. The ratio 3:5 between girls and boys. 50% of the rich girls and 60% of the rich boys are tribal students. 50% of the rich girls. Out of the rich girls, 50% are tribal, which means 20 they are from tribal. Tribal rich, which means non-tribal, the other 20. Same way, if we talk about 60% of the rich boys are tribal students. Out of the 60% rich boys, 60%. 60%. What is 60% of 60? It is 36. These are tribal students. So what happens to my non-tribal rich boys? Non-tribal rich boys, the other remaining 24. Now the question is, what is the ratio of non-tribal rich girls to non-tribal rich boys? From non-tribal rich girls to non-tribal rich boys. Non-tribal rich girls, it's 20. Non-tribal rich boys, it's 24. What is the simplest form of it? It is 5:6. When you cancel it into 4, the answer is 5:6. Move on to the next question now. A question based on syllogisms. Fine. 4 statements are followed by 4 conclusions, number 1, 2, 3, 4, assuming that the statements to be true, even if they do not conform to real world knowledge. Decide which of the conclusion logically follows from the statements. A typical syllogism question. In general, a syllogism question can be solved in 2 different methods, one using Venn diagrams, the other using tick and cross method. So we'll solve this question using Venn diagrams. And the thing about Venn diagrams is you have to look at a lot of possibilities. So we'll do this way, we'll go for the worst case. I'll draw the worst case of the given statements. Some students are players. Okay. Some students are players. Students, players. All scholars are scientists. So there is a subset scholar. All scholars are scientists. No player is a scholar. No player is a scholar. Some scientists are engineers. Some scientists are engineers. Okay. Now look at the conclusion. Some students are scientists. Some students are scientists. I cannot say for sure because this arrangement was possible based on the given statements. So some students are scientists. No, I cannot say for sure. Not possible. No engineer is a student. No engineer is a student. Here it says no engineer is a student. But I could have also drawn here. Say for example, I could have drawn student here and I could have drawn players here. Even if I draw it this way, it follows all the given statements, conditions, right? Again, I cannot say for sure that whether engineer is a student or not. I cannot say for sure. In this particular diagram, it follows, but not always. Good. Some scholars are engineers. Some scholars are engineers. No, in this diagram itself, it is not possible. No player is a scientist. No player is a scientist. Here in this diagram, it is possible. What if I had drawn here a player here and a student here? Even in this case, it still follows all the given statements, right? Because the only condition that I know is no player is a scholar. Player is not a scholar, I know, but a player could have been a scientist, right? Yes. So I don't know for sure. Again, this one also not follows. The answer is none of the conclusion follows. Which is the wrong term in the following series? So which means I have a series. I am supposed to find out the odd man out. I'm going to give you guys a minute. Try to do it, and then we discuss. E, Y, D, D, W, F, G, D, I, K, Q, N, P, Q, R, V, X. So whenever you have a coding decoding question based on a lot of alphabets and you need to remove the numbers, write it this way. So once you write it this way, you don't have to count the number of letters. Let's say B is the second letter, Y is the 25th letter, and D is the fourth letter. Same way here, D is the fourth letter, W 20 gone, so it's 23, 23rd letter, and F is the sixth letter. Same way, G is your seventh letter, T is 20th, and I is your ninth letter. K is your 11th, Q is your 17th, N is your 14th, P it's your 16th, K is your 11th, and then R it's your 18th letter. V is your 22nd letter, E is your 5th letter, and X is your 24th letter. So now that they have told me it is a series, let me see if I get to have any series arrangement here. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 7, 7 becomes 11, 11 becomes 16, 22. Just look here, 2 gets added, 3 gets added, 4 gets added, 5 gets added, and then 6 gets added. Same way here, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 4, it would have been 13. Would have been 13. If that is the case, plus 5, 18, plus 6, 24. So my answer is KQN. This is the one that does not follow the series. Answer is KQN. Move to the next one. Among 5 friends, A, B, C, D, and E, how many are employed? This is a question based on data sufficiency. C and E are employed is true. Okay, let's assume if the statement 1 alone is sufficient. Let's see if statement 1 alone is sufficient. Okay, C and E are employed if that's true. What about my A, B, and E? I don't know anything about the other 3, so definitely not possible. Let's say, if I just look at the second statement alone, at least one of A and D is employed is false. So the statement that at least one of A and D is employed is false. Still, it doesn't tell me how many are employed. And B's employment status is same as that of D. If B is employed, D is also employed. If D is unemployed, D is also unemployed. Still, I don't know what happens to my E here. So even if I combine them, this one, it does not tell me what happens to my A and D here. Same way, I don't get to know if B and D are employed or unemployed. All I get to know is their employment status is going to be the same. So my answer is both the statements 1 and 2 even put together is not sufficient to answer my question. Okay. Is the next one. It's again a question based on visual reasoning. The figure marked X is folded to form a box, assuming that the paper used for the box is opaque and the sign shaped triangles that are drawn on only one side of the paper have to be visible only on the outer side of the box. Four possible box formations A, B, C, D are given below, some of which can be formed and some cannot be formed. Choose from the alternative boxes which can be formed. Okay. Now listen here. This particular figure has been folded to form a box. This particular figure has been folded to form a box. And they are telling me that these are the possible arrangements, and we are supposed to find out which are the boxes which can be formed out of this particular figure. That's what I'm supposed to find out. And I have certain options. A and C are possible, C and D are possible, A, B, C are possible, and all are possible. Now let's start with A. Let's see if this is possible. Okay. This particular figure, if I fold it, having this in my front, this becomes my back. This goes to my back. You guys get it? Listen, I'm drawing a cube this way. Having this blank side here, which means the other blank side goes here, the dot goes here, and the square goes to the left, and the X goes to the bottom. And what happens to my back? Back is where I have a shape like this. It will be shaped this way. Because the one adjacent to the dot will not be shaded. The one adjacent to the dot will not be shaded. Okay. Is this particular arrangement possible? Come on guys, tell me, is this particular arrangement possible? The reason why I had this particular question at the last is that out of the visual reasoning questions that we have seen, this is a bit difficult. It is definitely time consuming, I would say. The main reason is that it has two blanks and these four small pieces form a particular side. It's definitely time consuming, I understand. Take a minute and tell me if A is possible. Yes, very good. It is possible, Devasagar. How is that so? See, if I fold it, what will I have to the right of it? This one. This one comes here. Once I fold, so this is definitely possible. So once you know that this is possible, just look at the options. So this is not my answer. So A is definitely possible. So now what are you supposed to do? Check for B also. Or else check for B. Yeah, we'll start with B first. Go with B. Try to find out if B is possible. A blank to the right of a square. and the x at the bottom, x at the bottom of it. Definitely this is also possible. So my answer is either ABC or all. And how do I check that? Go with D. That's the case, definitely C will also be possible. Yeah, C is definitely possible. The dot at the top, the bottom two sides, two blanks. Definitely possible. Check for the last option and tell me if this is possible or not. This is where it gets trickier. Okay. So guys, listen, yeah, this is when most people tend to make mistakes here. Now, you should not just say all these three are adjacent. If you look at all these three, whether they are adjacent or not, definitely all these three definitely would be adjacent. The box, the square, the dot, and the shaded figure. The four shaded figure will definitely be adjacent. But will they form a cube of this form? Now listen here. I want you guys to look at this particular figure. Yeah. Tilt your head towards your left and look at this figure. You have to look at this figure in such a way that this becomes your right hand side. This is your top, this is your left, and this is your bottom. Tilt your head to your left and look at this particular square. After folding, you will definitely have the dot towards your right. After folding, you have this dot towards your right. And at the bottom, you'll have a blank space. And at the top, you'll have the four shaded figure. Please understand? If I take this box or the square one, after folding, what will I have to my right? What will I have to my right? I'll have a dotted figure. Yes, what will I have to my left? I'll have an X. What will I have at the bottom? I'll have a blank space. And what will I have at the top? the four shaded ones. But do these three form a cube like this? Do the same thing here. Look, tilt your head to your left and look at this particular square. You will have the dot to your right and blank to your bottom. Same way, if with the same tilted head, just look at here. You have circle to your right and the dot to your right, which means blank should be at the bottom. And here is where you would have the four shaded figure to your left. So this arrangement is not possible. So this is where I told you it gets trickier. So D is not possible. So the answer is A, B, and C. Hope you guys understood. And that's the end of this session. And tomorrow we'll discuss the sample questions from the other parts like verbal and also your technical questions, sample questions of TCS NQT this year. We'll discuss it tomorrow, and you guys will definitely get your session links. And guys, there is a feedback link posted in the chat box right now. All I want you guys to do is I'll want you guys to fill those feedbacks. And like I've told you yesterday, if you guys are interested in taking up a test series, please make sure you guys do that. And I've already sent you guys a link on how to avail that particular test series. Make sure you guys give your feedbacks. And once you guys give your feedbacks, you guys can leave this particular meeting. And this is the way in which you guys can contact us. These are our social media pages. You can either message me to this particular WhatsApp number or you can mail me. That's my mail ID. Please submit your feedbacks. And once you guys have submitted your feedbacks, you can leave the session. That's all for the day, guys. All the best. Make sure you guys complete your feedbacks.